What's up, everybody? 5869 here with something a little different. Don't do these really at all, actually. It will be an American Dota League. I believe American Dota League. Could be Amateur Dota League, actually, now that I think about it. But it's going to be AD2L, whatever the heck it is. Solitas asked me if I could cast one of these games, so I thought, why not? In-house is an in-house, and SPX is actually going to be standing in. We're going to have the Electric Panther experience versus Team Chunch. So, going to be a pretty cool game, I'm sure. I think this was a few, I think now they're into a few games, so definitely not like the playoffs or anything here, just, you know, some group games, and certainly going to be a lot of fun, as it looks like Radiant is going to get rid of the Shadow Fiend Darks here, as Alchemist Solitas here will get rid of the Alchemist Windrunner. So a lot of the heroes that we see get picked and banned a lot. Doom going to be the first pick for Team Chunch, and an incredibly strong hero in the lane. Just really strong, a really flexible pick as well. You can run that safe lane, off lane. Just a really solid pickup. If you let him go through, I really don't think there's any heroes that you can usually leave and get to the stage that are as strong as Doom that you would want to pick over Doom. Maybe if you're on Radiant, you want to grab the Radiant side Shadow Fiend, but Doom really just such a powerhouse in 6.85, and just get the phase boots, the drums, and you're already just such a huge threat. Dire, they're going to, pick up something that may be a little bit unexpected here. Ancient Apparition, of course, the ultimate there will stop any healing that you can get from the Doom, but it's really not that much. Not as much as you would find from something like an Alchemist or something like that, but Scorched Earth still really strong. I think at like level 3 or level 4 maybe, it turns into essentially Heart and Radiance at the exact same time. So ends up being quite a bit of damage, quite a bit of bonus move speed, all that stuff, and just such a strong spell altogether. We'll see what they're going to want to pick up next. We still have, of course, Queen of Pain, Templar Assassin, two very strong mid laners that haven't been banned out yet. Tuskar as well, who surprisingly has been getting through quite a bit, and I'm not really sure why, since he did get a nerf to his laning stage. There's a bit of a mana cost change on shards, I believe it was, but he still feels like the exact same hero. Just incredibly strong at controlling the lane. He's got a nice bit of CC shards to maybe block somebody out. Just make the team fight a little bit more annoying for the enemy team, and they're going to follow up with the Witch Doctor. So going to get a nice bit of physical damage alongside a nice bit of magical damage, and these two supports, not all that bad at roaming. Really good in lane, which is kind of the wave that we see 6.85 riding as of right now. A lot of it really comes down to how well can you do in your laning stage, and how well can you convert that into a mid-game plan. So Witch Doctor, great hero, from 2-3 minutes on. Level 1 Cask, not the greatest, but once he hits level 2, level 3, he really starts getting a lot more potential with potentially the Maledict or even the Voodoo Restoration, and Radiant just going to follow that up with a Winter Wyvern. They're going to say, alright, you've got that Death Ward, how about we just throw the Cold Embrace down, and that's not really going to do any damage to at least one of our heroes. Although, the one issue here is that if they get hit with the Frost Blast, the Cold Embrace now effectively nullifies 2 healing abilities on the side of the Radiant. So a little bit odd that they'd go with the Wyvern. I think Wyvern's still exceptionally strong. Just at level 1, you grab Arctic Burn, you harass the enemy mid lane for a little bit, just give your mid hero a more favorable position, and then after that, rotate around the map. Easy to find ganks, nice range for stacking and pulling, things like that, and doesn't really give too much away from your draft either. So I do like that. It means that if the Electric Panther experience wanted to grab something like an IO, they're going to have to think twice about it, because now we've got the Winter's Curse. So you're going to have to kind of say, all right, who do I want to grab as a carry? I don't want to grab somebody that's going to be a huge danger to my team if somebody gets Wintered Cursed. So maybe somebody that a core that doesn't look for 100% of their damage coming from those right clicks. And Queen of Pain could be a great option there. She still right clicks very hard, but outside of that, the Sonic Wave is going to be where she gets a majority of her damage, as well as the Scream, so not as much of a danger. You can run her in the safe lane. Maybe she's a hero that you can easily leave, which means that your supports can just be aggressive. They can be off the map, kind of scaring the enemy team, and Queen of Pain can still do really well in her lane. Although recently we did see Nahaz actually release a stat about Radiant dual lanes being incredibly strong. I think they have like a 53 or 54% win rate, which doesn't sound like much, but is actually pretty high. So that Radiant dual lane, that dual off lane, is really strong, really difficult to deal with. And maybe they're going to throw, you know, Doom Wyvern top lane or Doom +1. I've seen the Doom Lich quite often. I think, you know, that would help shore up some of the damage here for the Winter Wyvern. And really just kind of round out your draft a little bit. It means that the Electric Panther experience is going to have to, again, think twice about the physical damage. They're going to say, all right, now they've got Frost Armor. How do we kill a Doom in lane outside of a really heavily magical damage hero? So you're going to be looking at somebody like perhaps the Gyrocopter outside of that. And they will pick up the TA. I do like that. Strong mid hero, especially when there's no Ember Spirit around or anybody that's going to be a huge dominator. Queen of Pain still in the pool, which is very important. And Team Chunch will just rotate and we'll say, all right, you want that TA, we'll grab the Undying, and that's that dual lane that we were talking about earlier. The Undying giving you that potential of having a dual lane. It most likely, I think, will be a Doom safe lane and an Undying +1 in the off lane here. Maybe an Undying Spirit Breaker we've seen quite often. Undying Tuskar still in the pool. Oh, excuse me, no, Tuskar actually getting banned out, so Undying Lich perhaps wouldn't be all that bad. And looks like waiting for the next pick for the Electric Panther experience. They're probably going to want to go with their offlaner. You don't want to get your actual core this early on. You've still got a couple of picks left. Maybe keep them guessing a little bit here. We've got quite a few offlaners that are really strong still left in the pool. Earthshaker notably has seen a little bit less play, but still a really great hero. Outside of that, obviously the Clockwork, which is just such a strong hero. He's a great laner, just gives you so much mid-game control and space creation. And I think it works really well with the Templar Assassin here. The TA is a good pick as well because you're on that dire side. You've got an easier Roshan with Meld Strike Refractions. You can take that Roshan a lot easier. So they pick up somebody like a Clockwork. They look to get a couple pickoffs with the AA Clockwork, and then from there, TA feels a lot more comfortable going into the Roche Pit, and it gives you this really easy to execute mid-game strategy. Whereas Team Chunch, they've got these heroes and they're looking at, okay, we're just gonna fight and we're gonna try to fight more, and we'll just keep fighting after that. But if you're getting picked off in between this, or you're getting, these really heavy ganking heroes like the Clockwork, Ancient Apparition with that global potential, it makes it a lot more difficult to have this fighting style of Dota that it seems like you want to go for. Doom, the ability, not the hero, although I guess the hero as well, but Doom in itself really good against TA, can burn through those refractions with the Scorched Earth, and then after that she's not really all that useful. PL though, gonna be a really tough target for this Doom. You're never really 100% sure, if it's an illusion or if it's the actual PL. Sometimes it's just, there's always that 98, 99 maybe % chance where that 1 or 2% where you're like, is this going to be an illusion? And if you're me, then it probably most likely is an illusion. And Team Chunch, they're going to grab the Slardar, and this is going to be a fairly nice duel lane. We've already got 3 strength heroes, and are we going to see, I hope we won't, but the Electric Panther, they have the opportunity to go for somebody like a Timbersaw. I probably wouldn't, but you never know what somebody's going to pick. They see 3 strength heroes and they say, hey, Timbersaw. But we've definitely got another few options in here. Clockwork's still pretty good against Slardar. The thing is you can't really counter a Clockwork. He's just going to build these cheap items, grab a Blade Mail, and then sure, even if you've got a nice bit of damage inside of Cogs, he's just going to be reflecting it anyways. So Slardar, not necessarily the most effective pickup up against somebody like a Clockwork, but it's not on the match just yet, so we may not necessarily see a Clockwork. And with that Slardar, I do like that. It's probably going to be a dual lane Undying Slardar off lane. They could run a tri-lane Doom Wyvern Undying, but depending on the off lane of the Electric Panther experience, I don't think you'll really have that much kill potential, really. Sure, you've got Tombstone, you've got Arctic Blast, but you don't have an actual solid lockdown, and they could still go for a Queen of Pain off lane. And what? Okay. Alright, let's theory craft this. So, what do we have here? We've got TA, definitely not going to be in the off lane. I think this is an off lane Rubik. If we just look at Rubik as a hero himself, he's kind of level dependent despite the fact that he's run as a support. Doesn't really need farm, really wants his levels though. Ancient Apparition, Witch Doctor, kind of the same boat, AA especially, but they can usually get them just by stacking and staying in lane. Rubik you kind of want to rotate around with, roam a little bit, and gank. And you've got that nice lift initiation from Rubik. What is happening? A Tinker. Okay. Alright. This is a game and a half. Alright. So, despite the fact that we still had a Queen of Pain in the pool, a tier 1 hero, they're going to go and they're going to pick Tinker. And this is an in-house league, you know, an amateur in-house league, which means that they're obviously comfortable playing Tinker in general, but it's certainly going to be a lot of fun, as we are going to get, probably take that overlay off if I'm a good caster, but Tinker, I honestly did not expect that. So this is going to be really interesting to see. It's pretty obvious how they're going to lane it. Well, I mean, not necessarily obvious. They could run some dual lanes. But it's obvious that it's going to be a Tinker mid and most likely Doom safe lane and Slider off lane. Whether or not it's going to be dual lanes, we have no idea. But we'll have to see. On the side of the Dire, though, it's kind of weird. AA is just such a squishy offlaner. And if you look at just his move speed in general, 295 move speed. There's no way you're going to be able to get it away from an Arctic Burn. It looks like it will be the Rubik offlane. I definitely expected that it was going to be the best option here, because he's at least got lift to keep himself a little bit careful. Maybe if he throws one early point in a null field, it'll give him at least 5% magic resistance up against this Scorched Earth, but this is going to be really odd. And I think if they're smart, the Radiant runs this as an aggro tri-lane, 100%. They say already he's got a Rubik. Doom, not going to be afraid to lane against that Rubik. We don't really need to kill him because he's not a hero that we're going to be scared about snowballing. So you just run the Doom in a safe lane solo up against the Rubik, and then from there you go aggro tri-lane. You've got a lot of kill potential, especially again AA. This hero, it just lends himself to dying early on. He's incredibly squishy. Sure, he's got a lot of damage potential with the Cold Feet as well as with the Cold Embrace, or excuse me, the Chilling Touch, giving your team a lot of damage potential, but still kind of scary. Tinker could level March here and just zone out this entire Dire team, as well as Tombstone here. Looks like they are going to start things off with the Chilling Touch here, only on a 3 heroes, I believe. No TA actually going to get that as well. Looks like we're already going to have a little bit of fight at the start here. Filter going to take one right click. And now the Radiant, a little bit unsure of how they want to play this one. Arctic Burn is now scaled. Are we going to see a fight? Crush only actually going to land on 3. Solitas in a lot of trouble. There it is going to pop. Actually, no. Filter not going to go down here. Instead, Solitas is going to be the first blood here. Paradise now going to get chased down. Do we have another decay? We do. Paradise, is he going to die? 30 HP, still alive, still running. Is going to salve up now. And it looks like with the slow from the Phantom Lance now on the Undying, they won't be able to get this kill. But they do manage to at least find the first blood on his Solitas here in the mid lane. And that's kind of an issue for him because... Really? Really? Is this happening right now? Is this... Reborn Donut, everybody! Alright, alright, alright. That's alright. That's alright. Okay, so let's kind of break down this tri-lane, because you do have the Chilling Touch, which you've got to be careful with, and it should be a little bit difficult for Radiant to start to get their level maybe 3, which is when they're going to be really dangerous. So the Dire's got to look to get a lot of work done in these early levels. They can't really afford to stack and pull here, as it's very dangerous up against the Arctic Burn. There's a huge initiation range on that, as well as a really strong slow. They do have a Sentry Ward if they want to deward here. Crush looks like it's going to go down on the Scrub, taking quite a bit of damage. They will continue to chase, but they probably won't be able to get a kill here. As mid lane, Solitas not doing all that bad. Doom, though, going to be the huge winner this game. 6-0 already in terms of CS here. Nilla really going to have to impress me if I want to say that, yeah, this offlane Rubik is worth it, because that is the weirdest pickup. Is SPX going to try and harass out Filter a little bit here? Scrub, I definitely like the item choice here. Gonna need that Ring of Protection. Gonna need that Stout Shield. Maybe wasn't aware that it was gonna be a tri-lane, but I think whether or not he knew, certainly gonna be a good pickup here. Mid lane, Devin. Does have the 2 points in a laser, so a nice 100% mischance for Solitas. Gonna be really hard for him to deal with early on as well, which means that maybe we could secure some CS over here. We're getting some pings out top from... It seemed like the Dire, as maybe Witch Doctor getting a little bit low. Cask to bounce, and it looks like SPX is going to go down. There's the crush from Filter. Scrub in a little bit of an odd position, but look at the damage from just that AA. Just absolutely massive damage coming out from that Chilling Touch. Physium in a little bit of trouble now. Does have the Splinter Blast if he wants to spend it. Will do so. Now Scrub going to take a bit of damage. They don't have any more mana, though, and no, they can't continue to chase with the Undying here. No mangoes on the Undying either, so gonna have to try and clarity up to use these DKs. Do have a mango on Slardar, though. This guy gets it. Rubik not doing a bad job of harassing out Doom here, but with that Basilius, gonna have a nice little base armor of 3 to help him out. Hasn't devoured a neutral creep just yet, which is quite odd, especially with the Satyr. You can even get another bonus 4 regen, which is pretty disgusting, as well as some bonus damage from that Satyr orb. As Paradise got to be a little bit careful. Does manage to find his level 2, so the cold feet as well as the cast could be enough to get a kill, which is very much needed. The Radiant, though, hasn't gotten all that much out of this lane just yet. I think they need a little bit more to make it really worth it. Tombstone down on a Paradise. He's almost certainly going to go down. Arctic Burn as well. Going to buy him some time, and it looks like there's the cast jumping back and forth. Spy's a Spy actually going to get cold feeted up, but it looks like SBX in a lot of trouble now. Too many zombies for him to really deal with. Is going to take a Splinter Blast, but it's not going to be enough to secure a kill. Filter managing to find some gold for boots, missing a couple CS there. As Nilla getting dove under tower. Doom just doing Doom things. What do you expect with this hero, especially with that ice armor? That's a nice pickup as well in lane. Just going to use the salve and go back to about 600 HP by the time we're all said and done here. March now in the mid lane, and it will be a March build for the Tinker, so going to look to farm up quite a bit here. And with the draft on the side of the Dire, they're really going to have to get a lot out of this mid game. But the aggro tri-lane is doing so much for them, because they're going to slow down all 3 heroes on the Dire, which means they're going to have less mid game potential. So they're maybe going to try to rotate it into a late game, but up against a Tinker Doom Slardar, I really don't think you come out ahead on top of that, unless your TA snowballs ridiculously. Is Haste Rune on Tinker. We don't actually have the Haste Rune there, so we can't really tell top lane. It looks like there was going to be a kill. Spy's a Spy in a little bit of trouble, but Scrub can't chase this one all alone. A little bit too far off to the side there. Mid lane, Solitas, 20 and 11, so he's doing pretty well in terms of CS. We'll use the trap on a War God now. He's got to be a little bit careful. Meld Strike up. Won't be nearly enough damage to at least try to secure a kill. Bot lane now, General Manager, just look at the damage over here. It's going for a Midas first, so I'm not going to grab the phase boots and be an absolute lane dominator. Instead, just going to go for the Midas and look to extend the early game lead that they've already managed to find here. 5-1 is going to be our score at about 5 minutes here, and fairly interesting game so far. Crush going to go down on the Scrub. Not going to be all that annoyed from it, though. Does now have a magic stick, so he can hold himself in this tri-lane a little bit better as TP up from the Undying. Solitas with his bottle now, going to be looking to finish up the full Aquila. As another Doom here, as well as a dive under tower. Nilla probably going to go down here. SBX could find himself in a lot of trouble. Will they get the return kill, though? The Voodoo Restoration doing a lot of work. Maledict as well. His General Manager actually going to go down here. Maledict not leveled up enough, and it looks like Nilla at the very least will be able to live here. So a nice rotation in from SBX, who for those of you who don't know is actually standing in and going to have some nice map awareness there. So saving the offlane Rubik. Never really thought I'd be saying that, but we'll save the offlane Rubik from this Doom diving in, and there we go. We will grab the Satyr here, and 5.6 regen. Gonna be really annoying. Rubik can't really push Doom out of the lane all that efficiently. Splinter Blast up. Not gonna hit any of the heroes, though. TA now. We'll be bottling an Invis Rune, and could this be what the Dire wants? They see the courier, though, and they know exactly what's going on. Radiant's gonna back up here, and a nice play from them. Solitas, though, returning back to the mid lane, could maybe find himself a kill on a Devon if he's not careful. Nilla as well in this bot lane with the Tranquil Boots now. Getting a little bit aggressive. Fade Bolt, lift up. Do we have a steal into anything? Will get a steal, and there it is. Now who's going to be doing more damage? Will he have enough here with the Scorched Earth that he stole? Maybe, just maybe, no! 30 HP, Nilla. If only you had spent that 1,000 gold on a Null Talisman or anything. Could have been enough to get the kill. Unfortunately, won't be able to do so, and he even gives up the Devour, which means he'll be farming a little bit slower now. Physium, as well as Spy's a Spy, maybe thinking about a tower dive here if they throw it on the Tombstone, but they will back up. A couple pings out. The Dire knows kind of what's going on, and without the Witch Doctor, they've got to be careful. It's not a 2 versus 3 lane, and PL at least going to almost find his 6. Physium and Solitas both side by side here. Spy's a Spy. Not going to spot out Solitas just yet, and this is a pretty tense moment if I do say so myself. Filter going to start things off with the crush, and Solitas looks like he's ready to go for the fight. Paradise is going to help him out as there's the trap to start things off. Tombstone going to be laid down by Spies the Spy. Filter going right in on a Paradise, and look at that damage yet again. Now Filter's going to be a little bit careful as well as Scrub, both at about half HP. Solitas continuing the chase, but it looks like he should be able to get this kill. Cold Embrace if he needs to use it, but he doesn't have the mana. Filter trying to sprint by, has another crush. Spies the Spy going to be able to TP out. SPX no cask, but it doesn't matter. The meld damage from Solitas going to be enough to help secure the kill there, and it will be a 1-for-1 trade, but they do lose the offlaner for the solo or the support AA. Not the best trade here, as if we take a look at the fight recap, it will be only about a 200 net worth and gold increase there for the Dire. So not what they really wanted, but certainly making the best situation out of no situation. And General Manager now with the Doom up yet again. Is he going to go for a kill? He knows that there probably won't be a rotate up from SBX, who did spend a lot of time in that top lane. Physium getting quite low right now. Won't be able to get healed, and that's going to be a dominating streak going over to Solitas, who looks like maybe was thinking about continuing to chase with the trap, but instead will just back off now. Bot lane, Nilla still hanging around with that Scorched Earth, so going to be a little bit difficult to kill him unless you absolutely go for the duel here. Soul Ring picked up on the Rubik. Now Doom thinking like he maybe want to go for a dive here, but with the Scorched Earth now popped on Rubik, Doom can't really use his ultimate. Will have to back out. Does throw out the Hadoken here. And they're pinging him out. They want to go for him. Nilla does have lift mana, and he will use it. The lift back. Doom, is he going to use the ultimate here in order to kill the Rubik? He will. But the Voodoo Restoration from SPX could be enough. They don't have the cask. There it is. Not going to continue to bounce, though. General Manager taking a lot of damage. Voodoo Restoration won't be enough to keep him alive, but it looks like it should be a 1-for-1 trade here. General Manager will go down. Solitas TPing in for good measure, and that's 518 gold going the way of our Witch Doctor. That's going to be a nice little pocket change for him here, as those rotations are getting somewhat costly now. It looks like they will start things off with Arctic Burn. Tombstone going to go down over here to Dr. Paradise. Buyback from the Rubik Crush, and it looks like Filter might be in a lot of trouble. There's the lift. Toss back, not going to be used. Physium actually going to eat a Fade Bolt, not before Filter is able to get Cold Embrace, though. And now a Crush. No way this guy actually gets out right now. He might actually be able to do so. Sprint off cooldown. He's actually going to live right now. No, he's going to go down the PL, barely getting enough range for the Phantom Lance. And even in the backside, it looks like they will manage to get a kill over here on the Wyvern. So it'll be a 2-for-0 trade. Or was it a 2-for-1? I think the AA dying at the very beginning there. It was a 2-for-1. They did have to spend a buyback on the Rubik, but it's a nice little bit of a gold exchange there. Just slowly getting up here, as it looks like the deny from SBX is going to prevent the Tinker from grabbing that room. But now Tinker getting very close to his Boots of Travel, has managed to find himself a lot of space with all the rotations around here. Take a look at the net worth chart. Doom leading by quite a bit here, despite dying not too long ago. Mostly due to part to that Midas, as well as the Devour Gold. Solitas, the next highest net worth with only about 4k, so not all that far off, but certainly going to be playing an uphill game of chase here, as he doesn't have a Midas of his own. TP's coming out mid lane. Are we going to have a smoke up from SBX, who does actually go for the point booster? So it's going to be a quick eggs for him. Smoke now from Nilla. It looks like they want to catch Devin, and with no mana, does manage to grab his Boots of Travel, though. So they won't be able to slow him down. Nilla looks like he's going to be the one to start things off. Trap not going to be able to land, though. And Nilla, with the Tranquil Boots, move speed will bring him back. There's a cast. Look at that meld damage. Absolutely huge there. So a nice pick off there. They will at least slow down the Tinker before he's able to grab his bots, and it looks like Paradise getting pinged out here. Arctic Burn, Tombstone to start things off. There's a Decay as well, and it looks like Paradise easily going to go down here. He's trying to focus the Tombstone, not going to be able to get it, and now Scrub in a little bit of trouble behind the tower here. They are able to dive, and it looks like Filter thinking about it. Backside though, Death Ward going to be channeled. Doom's rotating in as well. Can he cancel this? No. Filter will be the one to do so. Splinter Blast out. SPX is going to go down. Solitas now melded, and there's the Doom on a Scrub. Are they going to continue to chase him? Trap up. General Manager going to be slowed down a little bit here, and it looks like there's the Crush. There's the amp damage. He's going to go down. Scrub trying to juke in the trees, but he will not be able to. The entirety of the Radiant here just knocking on the door, waiting to get the kill. We do have the Doppel walk though. Scrub will use it. TP in now from Paradise. Will they be able to maybe turn this around? Rubik's coming in here as well. Scrub, there's the Crush from Filter. Will be enough to get the kill. A stolen Scrub now from Nilla, and now Spies the Spy under tower in a lot of trouble. There's the toss back on the Doom, and now the Arctic Burn. It looks like there's so much back and forth in this team fight. They won't be able to get anybody. Those Spies the Spy TPing out, and they won't be able to catch him. He will get away here. And this is a best of 2 series, so not a best of 3. Actually, just going to be a best of 2 series here, for those of you in Twitch chat who are wondering. A lot of Dire Heroes top lane, but both teams rotating in quite a bit for that 12-8 now. 20 kills at the 12-minute, let's just call it the 13-minute mark. But what an eventful game we've had so far. TP now bot lane from the PL. Is he maybe thinking about harassing this Tinker out? Rockets only level 1, I believe, though, so not going to do all that much. No, actually going to go level 2. Not going to go for any more points at a laser after grabbing the early level 2 in that. Just about finished up on that Soul Ring as top lane. General Manager and Physium. Spy's a spy here as well. They'll probably only be able to find the AA, but a kill is better than nothing. Splinter Blast to start things off, and just look at that. AA, 500 HP. No way he lives through that. Tinker even rotating in for this one. It looks like they're going to be ready to pressure the tower, though. Nilla maybe thinking about stealing something here. Cass going to be thrown out on a filter. So a little bit of an odd engagement for both teams. Trap out now on a filter. And that Maledict. And the damage filter's dead no matter what now. The Maledict kicked down too much. Fable from Nilla, though, to start things off. Is he going to go for the steal? Will actually grab the Scorched Earth here. So a nice bit of regen as well as move speed for him. Trap out on a General Manager. Cask gonna jump between the neutrals. Gonna jump back to Spy's the Spy, though. And Doom now used on Solitas. He's most likely gonna go down. Splinter Blast. Damage out. Spread across 4 heroes. General Manager getting low. And it looks like Solitas. Maybe the Voodoo Restoration is enough. But there, no. The Winter's Curse on a Paradise. He's gonna go down. And Solitas as well on the backside. General Manager's not done with this one just yet. Nilla with the lift up. Toss back. Not gonna use it just yet. It looks like TA. Solitas is gonna buy back. Is he at least gonna be able to get General Manager here? He needs to get something if he wants to make this worth it. Trap to start things off. General Manager a little bit slow. No Scorched Earth. But the Splinter Blast Solitas. He's not fast enough. And I don't think it was worth it whatsoever here for him to buy back. Won't be able to even get Physium. The TP out. And with no way to stop that. The meld. Oh. So close. So close. So the buyback not worth it for Solitas. Probably won't even be able to find the Tinker here. We'll throw it on a trap hoping to do so, but gonna have to back. Still has about 800 gold, but did lose out on a lot there. If we look at his net worth now, only at about 4k, and that's what we saw him at earlier. So it's essentially like he zeroed himself out from way back when we took a look at his net worth. Filter now. Gonna try to find his Blink Dagger. 1500 gold, so probably gonna have it around the 20-minute mark. A little bit later than he would hope, but with how aggressive this game's been going, as well as the fact that, you know, he was just back and forth between top lane and going home and, you know, fighting a lot. It's not all that bad considering. The real question is, when is this Tinker actually going to come online? Because he's really felt like a non-factor. Didn't really go for the fighting build. Max March instead. Now 4 points in a rocket, so going to help his team out a lot, as it looks like Arctic Burn should be able to fly off and will be able to do so. Trap even thrown down for good measure, but they won't be able to catch anything, as it looks like they will at least get the amp damage on a Solitas here, who will be spotted out. General Manager. Looks like he's maybe thinking about chasing the TA. Trap to go down, though, so they will see Filter rotating up. Maybe thinking about going for Phantom Lancer or Dark Paradise here. And it looks like Filter maybe thinking about starting things off. General Manager. Midasing, Devour. Still with just the Shockwave as well as the Satyr here. Not really the best creep. He would probably like to use Devour, get the Alpha Wolf at this point, and look to just create some more pressure with that. As the HP regen, not really all that great. A lot of the damage coming out of the Dire is burst damage, and Solitas hasn't even managed to stack Ancients this entire time, so it just shows how pressured this game has been. We'll move over to do them now, and not going to be all that bad here. Is with 1200 gold, hitting for about 110, 111 damage here. Nilla with an Invis rune. We'll see if he wants to maybe get a kill bot lane, as they are going to give a little bit of room to SBX to maybe try and finish up the Aghanim Scepter, but it looks like he will just go at least for a little bit of Invis here to try and get the full Death Ward channel off. Grab that Glimmer Cape, and it's really difficult to kind of hold somebody down. Nilla rotating in now with the Invis rune. Physium gonna throw out the Splinter Blast. Spy's the Spy is here as well. Nilla going to be eating a lot of damage from that march. There's the toss up, and it looks like they will even get a couple of rockets down. Solitas, now they're focusing the tombstone. Death Ward, we're going to go down. Cask doing a lot of damage, but now the Winter's Curse over here. Doom as well, and Solitas, he's going to go down almost certainly. They will at least be able to get one kill so far. 1-for-1 trade. Rockets to go out, and it looks like this is not the team fight Dire was looking for. Nilla probably going to go down here as well. General Manager continuing the chase. There's the lift up. Actually, Undying, no, this is the ult from the Undying that was stolen. Not the ability that the Rubik one does have. The Blink Dagger will be able to get away on this one. And that was a little bit confusing. We'll be able to regen up with those Tranquil Boots and kind of stick around lane. Does manage to grab level Death, which isn't all that bad. Level 2, the hero multiplier at level 5, certainly not the greatest. You want it a little bit lower. Hopefully level 4. Definitely level 3 though. Most importantly, though, he didn't die there, and could have been a lot worse. If you take a look at the graphs, it looks like we're at about a 6k lead for TC. EXP telling about the same story, maybe not as much, but Team Chunch really getting more out of this game so far. Splinter Blast Rubik. Getting kind of low there. Wand. Wouldn't have saved him if it was that close, but we'll be able to just walk out of this one, as it looks like mid lane now. Rocket's going to go into Solitas, who hasn't even managed to find a Blink Dagger of his own thanks to that buyback. At least they've got one on the Rubik, so they do have some form of initiation. Which, as of right now, the Radiant is kind of lacking. The Doom doesn't really have a Blink. How do they kind of initiate without... Oh, I guess they've got Filter here who can Blink Crush in, which is kind of what you want to go for. I think you kind of want to prioritize it on the Doom a little bit more so than anything, though. As, it's a little bit scary blinking into a TA and a Rubik and a Witch Doctor. The Meld, as well as the Maledict, just going to be enhanced by that sprint amp damage. Scrub now maybe going to be the target. General Manager, no real way to catch him though. Scrub should be able to get out of this one just fine, although it looks like Filter not ready to give this one up just yet. There's the Blink Crush. Scrub, amp damage, Doom. Are we going to use it just yet? No, not yet. A ulti actually going to hit on a Filter, and now they may be able to turn this one around. Cast to Fly. Is it going to bounce? Yes, it will. Filter, General Manager. Devin even going to eat a little bit of that one, and there it is. They will use the Maledict. Trapped as well, so on a Filter. He's going to go down. No deny to the neutral creeps here. They won't be able to continue this chase, I don't believe, here. As Doom should be able to get out of this one. Tinker as well kind of splitting off, and he'll be able to get himself home safely. Force Staff going to be the item for Physium. Probably, well, I guess not that bad. Doesn't really have to worry about all that much magical damage, but Glimmer Cape would have been pretty helpful. At the very least up against the AA as well as the Fade Bolt. But instead... Alright, alright. This is some classic Reborn right here. SPX, gonna throw out the Cask. Not gonna be able to bounce to anything though. Solitas looking about thinking for the Desolator now, I'd imagine. They don't really have all that much armor that he needs to chew through. Really, Filter's the only scary one. Doom, not all that bad. 5 armor. Doom actually gonna be used on a Scrub here. Level Death as well. Rocket will be enough to secure this kill here. Yeah, it will be. SPX trying to rotate in with the Voodoo Restoration, but won't be able to do so. Rocket was just too strong, and Doom actually going to be able to find himself about 500 gold off of that one. And 1,000 EXP here as well, which is really going to show on the graph here. And you can really see the Radiant grabbing this advantage. And with the late game potential they've got, the Dire really seems to be in a bad situation here. Is Devin going to rotate up? Solitas actually in here will use the trap. Devin actually going to blink out there, getting a little bit scared for his own. Good, maybe they could have gotten the kill there if Solitas was able to meld and then followed up with a trap, but won't be able to do so. And now Nilla going to use March in the bot lane, so he's going to be happy to at least steal something like that. That'll help him farm out a little bit here. Probably going to want to grab a Force Staff, maybe a Bloodstone next if he's feeling really confident with how this game's going. But I think 21 to 11, 21 minutes in, you really don't want to be getting that greedy. As it looks like mid lane, they are going to try to jump on a Dr. Paradise. I know he's here. AL's going to be used on a War God, though. He's got to be careful. Now Scrub's going to rotate in. Won't be able to get off the Phantom Lance. Instead, going to have to turn it around and use it on Filter. There's the Maledict. Filter going to eat a little bit of Death Ward damage as well as the heal from the Undying. Is it going to be enough to keep him alive? There's another Phantom Lance, though. Spies is fine now. Going to throw it on the Tombstone. Decay going to land on 4, and it looks like Tombstone. Look at the zombies. There's the level Death. Going to eat that Witch Doctor alive. Rockets as well. Scrub's in a whole lot of trouble in the backside. Just eating so much zombie damage. Solitas trying to get the Tombstone. Will be able to do so. Rocket out yet again, and it looks like the PL in a lot of trouble now. Spies is fine, taking some damage from Solitas. Turn around, and now it looks like War God's in a ton of trouble, and he will go down. Seems like that's going to be the end of the fight. TA will manage to get a mega kill. And the Doom, I think, just TPing out of the back of that one. Finally, the finished Daedalus now. And this is when the TA gets a little bit scary. As well as the dire Roshan potential really is kind of what's sitting in the front of your mind if you're the Radiant now. Solida's probably going to need a BKB next if he wants to avoid the crush damage as well as the blinding from the Tinker, which is probably going to be the biggest issue for him. Of course, it's going to help out against the Decay, a little bit of the Wyvern, but I think really the blind as well as the crush is going to be what's really giving him issues here. Sure, the Doom, but you don't really want to grab something like a Lincoln Sphere here. It's just not useful. War God now with about 1,500 gold. We'll see if it's going to be... I think it's actually going to be a Bloodstone for War God here. Looks like it will be, so we'll grab the point booster. Could be an Aghanim Scepter, which is not bad this game considering how squishy everybody is. But I think to really get the full damage out of the Aghanim Scepter, you probably need a Bloodstone beforehand in order to get the full mana pool spam ability here, as it looks like maybe the Radiant ready to rotate top. Doom not going to be able to find Scrub. Solidus in a bit of an odd position, though. Maybe if you're able to catch him, if they continue to chase towards the left side, they won't do so. Now it seems like things are going to calm down a little bit. General Manager, though, really skyrocketing here. Does have the Aghanim Scepter as well as the SNY. That SNY going to give him a nice bit of move speed to really chase down anybody he needs to. As it looks like the Radiant ready to pressure down this mid lane. They do have the tier 2 top down, and they will want to grab this mid tower, especially if they want to be able to help secure Roche. Still at tier 1 in the offlane, oddly enough, and General Manager just going to start hitting that tower. Does grab an Alpha Wolf now, so will be giving himself some bonus damage. Splinter Blast stolen from Nilla here. That could be quite useful in the team fights. Does have a pretty large mana pool to spam it out. And it looks like we'll use it on the Doom. Not going to hit anybody else, though. Splinter Blast from both teams just back and forth. Such a low cooldown, and Trap not going to hit on anybody just yet. Splinter Blast. Look at that freaking range. We'll catch a couple heroes here, and Rubik going to be comfortable just throwing it out back and forth now. Filter going to get healed up a little bit, and it looks like they don't want to give this one up just yet, though. Meanwhile, PL doing a lot of work for his team. Split pushing really hard here, and it looks like the Radiant can efficiently go for this. Another Splinter Blast. Filter, gotta be careful. There it is, the blink up, the toss back. Now Solidus, trap up. Filter gonna be really low. A ulti, will it hit? Undying will heal him up. Filter gonna walk back into the ulti. Doom down to Solidus. Will get tossed up though, and it looks like War God gonna blink in yet again. There's the Rockets. Now the Winter's Curse gonna be used on Anilla. He's gonna go down. Dark Paradise gonna go down as well. There's the Death Ward gonna be channeled, but the mechanism gonna help keep the team alive a lot longer. General Manager just gonna face tank that one. Use the level death on the SBX. He should go down here as well. It's gonna be a triple kill godlike for the Doom, and I imagine a GG anytime now coming out from the Electric Panther, as they really can't continue to fight this. 27-14. They're pretty far down now. And look at this, the Radiant just going to go right for the tower. They do have the Diffusal Blade, and Spy is a Spy getting absolutely annihilated there. AA ulti, going to go on the mid lane. Diffusal Blade, Doom not going to hit the AA ulti though. There's the Cold Embrace to keep him alive a little bit longer, but he's still not going to prevent him from getting his mana burn. Now the blink in and the TP from the Tinker should be enough to secure the kill on a Scrub, and it will. Dr. Paradise, wrong place, wrong time, buddy. You're almost certainly going to go down. Look at that damage. Finally going to get a crit, but even without the crit, it looked like it. Cass going to be thrown out mid lane. SPX going to back off after that one. Solidus now with no initiation potential. Rubik maybe thinking about going in on this one, but the Rockets. 2k now. So it will be the time that we see what this Tinker wants to grab, and it looks like it'll most likely be the Aghanim Scepter here, unless he makes his way to the secret shop right now. And maybe there it is. So it will be the Bloodstone. Really wants to help himself farm out a little bit here. Probably just going to sell the Null Tally and grab the Soul Booster, and there it is. So it doesn't even have to sell the Null Talisman here. We've got the good old Error Courier sitting atop the secret shop there. As now this Tinker quite difficult to kill in his own right with about 1400 HP and 1200 mana. Once he gets his Bloodstone, really going to be able to spam out his abilities in these team fights. And once he hits that coveted level 16, going to have a really low cooldown or I guess a really low cast time on rearm and just be able to spam out. But look at that, AC now picked up on the Doom, and with that amount of armor, Desolator not going to help you out whatsoever. This Doom's net worth is off the charts, 1,600 or 16,000 net worth, doubling, effectively doubling Scrub right now at about 8,600 of his own, and he will TP bot lane. And this is the issue when you lose out so much in the early game. Just puts your PL behind so much, and the Doom with that Midas and that easy solo lane really going to be able to start controlling this match for himself. As SBX trying to rotate in, help out a little bit. Cask not going to jaunt over here to Physium, but they will pop the drums. They do want to go for this one. Won't be able to prevent the TP out. Now mid lane Doom thinking about going on a Solitas, but with Nilla nearby, not going to go for it. And Nilla does manage to find himself a Yules as well. So this Rubik has been playing pretty well this game so far. Hasn't been well enough though, and you really kind of wonder where their damage is coming from, and it comes from Nilla being able to find himself a good steal, as well as Solitas staying alive in Doom now. Again, doesn't really have the blink potential to catch Solitas here, and won't be able to do so. And they're pinging out saying, hey, they've got a ward up here, but they've only got a sentry. They will place an observer ward. Filter actually going to blink up in order to deward it, despite the fact that they had War God there. And now the Radiant going to rotate up to the top lane, maybe looking to pressure out this top Rax. But March stolen from the Rubik, going to make that a little bit difficult here, and machines galore. Solitas going to run into the enemy once. So now there's the heal up on a Filter. They're ready to go yet again. Nilla, unfortunately, doesn't really have the mana pool to sustain this March usage. And it looks like there's the crush on a Solitas. Will get stunned up. The Melt Strike keep him alive a little bit longer. Filter's going to blow up. Doom now going to be used on Scrub. AC as well. Will get Glimmer Cape. Try and buy him some time. ALT going to fly. Not going to hit on absolutely anything, though. It looks like Nilla going to throw himself in the air with the Yule Scepter. And maybe both teams just going to back off after this one. After the Doom was stolen by the Rubik and returned on a General Manager. He's taking quite a bit of damage to the Mechanism as well as the Cold Embrace. Enough to keep him alive a little bit longer. Tinker going to return home and probably come right back. Solitas with the trap out. They don't have the lift. Yes, they do. Not going to use it, though. Splinter Blast now. Solitas going to meld dodge that one. They will kill the creep. And Solitas going to buy a blink of his own now. Nilla going to be able to steal what was Splinter Blast there yet again. And with that nice big mana pool of his, we'll be able to spam it out quite often. Now it looks like they are going to make the chase here. Doom's going to be the target, the heal up from the Undying, as well as Solitas getting blown apart here. No more refractions. He's going to go down. ALT going to be way off mark yet again. SBX going to try and channel the Death Ward. Not before he goes down, though. General Manager going to get caught with the Stolen Winter's Curse now. Scrub on the backside going to be really careful. He's going to go down. Nilla as well. Getting chased. Is Devin going to be able to get a kill here? No blinding, or excuse me, no laser for another 1 second. Will be able to catch Nilla with that one, though. And it looks like Scrub, he should be able to survive. Nilla dying for Scrub sins here. Do I dare look at the net worth right now? 12K. 30 minutes in. EXP not telling the same story, but really, how do you come back from this? Double March in the mid lane. Now Nilla going to buy back, try and defend his racks here. ALT going to be thrown out. Are they going to be able to get the blink chase? No, the March will cancel the blink out. They do have the trap. Spy is a Spy, just going to TP out of this one. Not that close to the crack range, so really not that scared about that one. Filter finding himself a DD, looking like he wants to go for the armlet next, so going to give himself a little bit more HP, a little bit more attack speed, as well as a little bit more damage here. Physium in this mid lane now, 2.5k, so probably going to look for the Glimmer Cape next. Devin, there's the blink, Bloodstone, both completed. As well as 950 gold on him, so probably going to be looking for the Dagon next. Does go for the blink back. Still this tier 1 standing in the bot lane. Surprisingly enough, the Dire really able to hold on to that 30 minutes in. The Radiant should probably just move over and start to take that. And then from there, secure themselves to Roshan, as the Dire really doesn't have the map vision to keep up here. And they can't fight into this. There's absolutely no way. And it looks like General Manager and Filter just going to start things off. They do have the amp damage if they want to use it. Crush as well. The Bash too. Spy is Spy going to start things off and pop that Lincoln Sphere here. Ultimate though will hit, and is the Rubik going to think about blinking in here? They do have the vision. Filter getting quite low. Blink Fade Bolt. Could be enough to get the kill, but it won't be. There's the Mechanism. Cold Embrace as well. Everybody fully healed now. And it looks like this should be the ticket for the Radiant to go down whichever lane they want and probably take a Rax off of that. 32-17 now. As, yeah, net worth 19,000 now is going to be the magic number for our Doom player. Scrub not getting doubled up in terms of net worth, but it's very close. Very, very close. We'll just call it doubled, because he's only a few hundred off. 3,000 gold. Probably going to be looking for a Heart or a Scotty here. Really needs to tank up in some way, and Scrub will just TP out of this one. Getting a little bit afraid now. The Radiant grouping up, looking like they want to go for the mid lane. Smoke up, though. And do they see that? I don't believe so. Filter, maybe realizing that Nil is there, not going to do anything about it just yet, though. Doom going to be used. There's the blink to steal from the Doom. Who is he going to return it to? It looks like he's actually going to give it up on a Filter here. And now he's got a Winter's Curse on him. Death Ward to be channeled. Spies. His Spy take a lot of damage. They will be able to kill the Rubik. SPX has to back out after this one. Traps, though, is going to be enough to maybe prevent Physium from returning into this fight. Will try to back out now as there is a Tombstone, though. A lot of zombies. Solitas, no refraction. Has to be careful. Meld up. Can turn around and maybe get a couple kills here if he's lucky. Maybe Solitas now the march is going to be enough to get the kill, as well as the Cold Embrace going to be keeping Devin alive here, and it looks like the buyback on a PL. They'll probably call GG very soon here. Spy's a Spy. Does have a nice bit of healing for whoever he wants to give it to. Probably going to give it to General Manager, although he's got the Aegis. ALT. Not going to hit on a General Manager. He will get the passive from it passing by him, though. And it won't be enough to crack. Needs to be at around 300 HP to do so. Unless the AA got an Aghanim Scepter I'm not aware of. It looks like nowhere near that.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Bottom lane now, Devin. Nearby the PL. Maybe could look to get a kill here if he gets a couple rockets off. As well as if Scrub sticks in this march a little bit too long, but won't do so. Instead, the lane will just be pushed by the Tinker here. And 10 Bloodstone charges. This is the stuff dreams are made of. Whenever you play Tinker, you dream of these games that you can just spam so efficiently. Just continuously marching, even though there's nothing in sight. It's, another steal on Splinter Blast by Nilla here. D-Ward from SBX, going to be able to catch that one as Filter. Splinter Blast not going to bounce to his teammates. General Manager, got to be a little bit careful here. Solitas as well. Should stay a little bit further back since he's got the blink. Splinter Blast is going to go out again. Going to use it on General Manager, though, so he won't take any of that damage. Filter. Gotta be careful. We'll use the armlet toggle. Solitas now maybe wanting to get a little bit aggressive here. And Cold Embrace now onto the slide out. TP in from War God as well. Aegis going to be reclaimed in about 2 minutes. So if they want to make use of it, they've got to do it now. Tower still sitting at about 1/3 HP. Splinter Blast going to buy him a little bit of time. Rockets out though. Solitas is going to eat one of those. AL to me now down in the mid lane. Is he going to catch anybody? It looks like no. Filter. Maledict. There's the damage from the TA, but Filter, the Winter's Curse on Solitas. They said absolutely everything to keep him. Death Ward channel not going to be enough to kill General Manager though. There's the Diffusal Blade slowing him down a little bit. Now it looks like they should be able to just win this team fight. PL getting very low. Level death on Nilla. He's going to go down. Dr. Paradise in the backside going to be the next target. Nilla going to be able to survive on this one, but it looks like they'll be able to convert a Rax here. They will use the fortification, but it seems like they're just slowly but surely gonna get this Rax and just adding on to the inevitable death here of the Electric Panthers. Rubik, Yule Scepter up, blink away. It's SBX walking in. Didn't expect that damage. Cask out, gonna jump around between a couple of heroes. General Manager gonna use the Shiva's Guard here. Guardian Greaves as well now. Gonna be used. There's the steal. What did he grab? Splinter's Blast. Who would have guessed it? Now General Manager still with the Aegis here. 6.7k on him as well. Fade Bolt going to reduce some of the damage here, but not all that much. Only 32 ALT. Will this one hit? Splinter's Blast. War God, got to be a little bit careful. Now TP in from Solitas. There's a lot of damage. He wants to give up this Aegis. It's getting very close to the time that it would have just gotten down anyways. And it looks like Dr. Paradise, is he going to be able to get out of this one? Should be able to do so. General Manager, trap up. Slowed, not enough though. There's the Splinters Blast out on it. It's a Spy. Will catch him. Now General Manager in a little bit of trouble. Trap again. As well as Diffusal Blade doing a little bit of work to his mana pool. But with that Shiva's Gonna have quite a bit of mana to burn through. Another trap gonna be used, but it looks like War God just gonna TP out here. Doom doesn't want to give this one up just yet. Filter blinking in. Will just get a blink away from Solitas. Now though, Cass gonna be thrown out yet again. Won't be getting any favorable bounces now as Maledict gonna be used on General Manager. TP in from War God yet again. AA ulti. Not gonna hit on anybody. No, actually will catch a couple. Death Ward to be channeled. Filter in a lot of trouble as well, as it looks like the 4-star from Physium should die to the crack in the backside. Maybe not. Not going to be able to die here now, and it looks like they will only be able to get the Slardar. Solitas maybe thinking about a chase here. War God doing so much work with the rockets right now. Won't hit anything though. Solitas with a blink up, trap out as well on a spy as a spy. He's going to get doomed though, and he's probably going to go down. Will get denied by the Phantom Lancer. Nilla, what's he grab? Not what he wanted. Probably looking for the Doom. Won't be able to get it, unfortunately. Doom himself, what's he going to buy? 7.4k. Hasn't spent his gold just yet. Will be a BKB. I think he could, yeah, he's almost got the Moon Shard as well if he wants to grab that. As he will start things off and go right onto the racks. Nilla going to rotate up. They really don't want to give this game up just yet. There's the rearm going to be stolen. Not what you would hope for. We'll be able to rearm. Go for another steal. AA ultimate yet again. Will actually land on 3 this time. General Manager going to be caught in the middle of that one. Cast to fly out. Tombstone as well. Going to be used by the Undying as it looks like there's the steal. Nilla. There's the Yule Scepter. Keeping him alive a little bit longer. Devin War got in a whole lot of trouble as well. March going to be used. Nilla getting really low. Zombie chasing him. Scrub just tanking this March though. And it looks like General Manager playing the objective-based gaming. Spies the spy. Still not dead. Will finally die though to the illusions of Scrub. And it looks like Tombstone going to be the next target here, as they will grab 2 sets of racks now. Take a look at the fight recap. The Dire coming out ahead on that one. SPX maybe continuing the chase. Nilla with the blink up. Cask as well going to be used. Doom in the backside. Not going to help him out. Winter's Curse. Nilla. He's going to get eaten alive by his team here. Maledict going to be used on Physium here, but not going to be enough to get the kill. General Manager is going to walk in with the Shiva's Guard here. It looks like the slow going to be enough to get the kill on the Scrub. And yes, Scrub will go down. War God in the backside trying to do whatever he can with the rockets. The Dagon as well as Solitas actually going to be able to melt out of that one. But there it is. The March going to be used. Solitas going to eat the laser. And can somebody just stop this fight so I can take a breath sometime soon? Solitas going to blink out of this one. Filter. Sprinting up. Blink up from War God. Not going to be close enough to get the kill. And it looks like maybe... Oh, that was ridiculous. Filter with that armlet toggle getting quite low. Thought about going for Solitas, but instead we'll just back off, looking for a Cold Embrace to heal him up with 4 points into that one. Gonna just skyrocket up in terms of HP here. Filter gonna grab a DD. It looks like Physium just kind of messing with him right now. Yeah, I was gonna say, probably wrong, chat. We'll give him the Cold Embrace. And the Dire. What's their game plan here? Maybe gonna look for just, you know, a dieback on somebody, and maybe somebody gets greedy, you just push down the mid lane. I'm pretty sure they won a game in the AD2L not too long ago where they came back from like a ridiculous lead on the other side, and maybe they're thinking they can do so again, but wow! That's a 30k net worth lead. EXP, oh... I don't know about this one. The Electric Panthers, if they can come back from this, I'll eat a shoe. This would be a ridiculous comeback. Potentially one of the biggest comebacks I'd ever cast. Bounty Rune now going to be grabbed by Solitas. Pretty close to the Wyvern as well as the Slardar. Doom going to grab the Refresher Orb, and Aghanim's Refresher. Nobody going to be able to do anything. That's now Wyvern. Looks like they are expecting a ward there. Or do they spot out Paradise? Looks like no. Both teams spread out. Slardar does now see Solitas. Maybe going to look to start things off. March. Going to push the Dire all the way back in their base though. And this is going to be it. The last defense. If they can't hold this Rax or win a team fight, there's no hope for them. Aghanim Scepter almost completed. Blink in. A beautiful blink up from the Rubik, though. Yule Scepter up. Nilla Gonna use the blade or the toss, and it looks like he's gonna go down, getting Winter's Curse, Doom, Refresher Doom on SBX, and that's probably gonna be the game. 85 seconds without your Rubik. SBX running into his fountain. General Manager gonna pop the BKB, and they have no way to kill him. Just gonna right-click Dark Paradise, or excuse me, Dr. Paradise down, and it looks like there's the Shiva's Guard as well. Scrub gonna go down on the backside. Solitas as well does have the buyback. Double buyback gonna be used on the backside. Rax hasn't taken any damage just yet. Rockets now gonna hit both Solitas as well as Scrub here. War God gonna take a lot of damage, and he will die. Spies the Spy now getting very greedy. Can he TP out? Looks like should be able to do so. Melt Strike not gonna be there in time, and Doom now looks like he wants to try and grab the tower. Will get pushed away. Solitas continuing up with the chase. The Desolator gonna give him quite a bit of damage. Trap gonna be used yet again. General Manager does have the Shiva's Guard to slow him down if he needs to do so. Scrub rotating in as well. Does have the Diffusal Blade, I believe. Yes, still has 4 charges. General Manager now going to be able to get away with the Scorched Earth, and Solitas not going to chase that one. So they spend 2 buybacks, but they still want to stay in the game, and 35 net worth lead now. General Manager now walking into Roshan. Can they stop this? A ultimate going to be used, but nobody around to prevent it. General Manager will get caught out. Maybe going to think twice before he continues this Roshan. They do have the Slardar though, and the amp damage should be plenty to help them secure Roshan here. Looks like TA rotating up. They want to go for it. They don't really have anything to get vision in the pit just yet though, as ALT not off cooldown for another 10 seconds, and it won't be enough time. Solitas maybe thinking about blinking in, won't do so though. Slardar will grab the Aegis, and instead he'll just turn tail and run home. Rubik still nowhere near the Aghanim Scepter. Boots of Travel now grabbed on our Doom player. I think he should have just gone for the Moon Shard though. Didn't really need the bots whatsoever. Does he have buyback? 33 gold, so he'll have buyback bots back in if he needs it. But realistically, when you're 2 racks ahead, do you need to do something that risky? As it looks like Cold Embrace going to be used on Physium himself. Error just going to come over here and fly a couple items in and out. As phase boots, I believe we're so I can't even click on the courier. Hotkeys, guys. That's how you do it. So now March going to be used, and it looks like the Radiant going to be able to take racks this time. They won't dive. General Manager doesn't have Refresher for 40 seconds. But how do you blink into March? You can't. Ultimate to start things off will only catch Physium. Witch Doctor channeling the ult. They've got no vision on him. Spy versus Spy is going to go down here as well, as there's the Aegis going to be popped, so they do manage to get 2 heroes so far. Rax not down just yet. Doom does get used here, and it looks like Solitas is going to go down on the backside. Devin Wargod going to blink up, and it looks like it's going to be a double kill and a Wicked Stick. Maybe not going to give up just yet. General Manager probably going to be a little bit careful here. Maledict, they've got a lot of damage. General Manager going to go down here. Does have the buyback. Diffusal Blade going to slow him down. Maledict Ticks doing so much work right now. Could BKB and prevent the damage, but will just die. And it looks like will Radiant be able to secure this last Rax to get the full Mega Creeps. Yule Scepter up from our Rubik player. Stealing yet again the shards. Dagon out from Wargod. Not going to be enough to secure the kill. Physium in a lot of trouble. Cast bouncing around. Yule Scepter up as well. Devin Wargod got to be a little bit careful. Buyback from the Undying player. TPing into the mid lane. Looks like they will use the fortification to hold on to absolutely nothing. Buyback from the Wyvern. Buyback from the Tinker. Buyback from the Doom. Let's just throw them all in the hat. And this is a little bit of an odd position. If the Dire can actually get kills here, they could run down mid-game and end the game. But it looks like good game well played is going to be called by Solitas. And 45 minutes in, we've managed to find our Game 1 victor. It looks like Team Chunch going to be the ones taking this one. So good game well played to both teams, guys. And stick around. We've got Game 2 of this Best of 2 series coming up shortly. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to check out some of my other videos. I have my series from lane to lane where I just cast some everyday pubs that you guys send me. I also do some more professional pubs like games from Koikva, Miracle, whoever I can get my hands on from Dodo Buff. I have a learning series as well, so feel free to check that out. There's some more info in the description as well as some videos linked in the annotations at the end here. Thanks a lot.